Yeah, what's up? What's going on, y'all? You already know when the go. Episode 22 of the REEM'O Marac. You see her smiling on there. You see her glistening. You see her glow. As usual.
What's going on?
It's JAHAIRA. UNICA. You know what I'm saying? And the laugh in the building. We're going to have Midwest Yosh waiting for him to get back in the building. He was definitely here. We're going to wait for him to get back in the building. Definitely for sure. Definitely lots and super lots to talk about. I want to really start off with the show, JAHAIRA. I got to apologize to the viewers and listeners of the show. Yes, we are the unapologetic ones. You know, yes, we are highly animated, and we're definitely what's the best word I could use? Passionate when it comes to what we talk about. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm apologizing not because I'm backpedaling or I have a major deal in the way or anything of that magnitude, because I know that's probably what's going to be seen or said as, but I do feel I was a bit berating and yet out of touch personally on Tuesday's show, on Tuesday's podcast. You know, as a black man, you know, I'm gonna be highly proudful as a black man no matter what. Doesn't matter high, low, medium, on the fence, whatever way you wanna take it as, you know, I'm always gonna be that. But the one thing that I can't do is be berating yet out of control with it, to a sense. And I'm not gonna lie, that podcast, that episode we did, it was that. And I'm not gonna lie, the reason why being that, it was because you felt like it was between a rock and a hard place. It was like, all right, well, there was peaceful protests.
Right.
There was an emergence of people that did rioting or whatever, but it was in the sake of, because people are sick and tired of it.
Exactly. And
right?
They should be.
And they should be, right. But I feel for us, and especially within me, I'm gonna always take responsibility of the L's or whatever, and I'm gonna take it to the chin regardless. And as a leader, for this podcast, I don't want it to be casted upon y'all, because you guys, you Yosh, you know what I'm saying? You guys are your own entities as well. It's not, cause y'all the co-host. And I hate saying co-host, but you know what I'm saying? Cause y'all with me, that means you should feel the same wrath or thereof, for that matter, based off of what I felt.
Right.
And that's not fair, and it's not, it's not progressive. Yes, like I said, we're the unapologetic ones. Yes, we're passionate. Yes, we call out things, what we see as the fuck shit or what we see as BS. Exactly. Regardless if it's facts or if it's opinionated or whatever case may be. I for one know, and as well as understand how words can be impactful. And as I state, that's why I kept backing up what I said with, okay, I'm not promoting violence, which I don't want to do. But I would understand where it would come from, despite, nobody wants violence. I don't want violence. So absolutely. With that, I definitely had to come through and apologize on that, and to the listeners, to the viewers, what I'm saying, going forward, I'm going to be passionate, but not personal. And I'm not gonna lie, shout out to my lady, for really, finding that out and sealing the deal with it. You know, because I'm not gonna lie, she's one of my heaviest critics, and as rightfully so. You
Okay.
know, and I don't take heed to not listen, or I don't take heed to, oh, nah, F that. This is what I want. You know, at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, with this podcast, I want it to progressively go as it can be, as it can go. You know what I'm saying? I want it to progressively be at a level where, oh wow, they're really setting the tone and they're really setting the standard, and they're not faking the funk with what they do, or for that matter, we're not doing it just to be trendy. You know,
Exactly. And I
you know,
understand where you're coming from because, you know, as a Black woman, I'm upset seeing what's happening out there because that could have been me. What happened the other night where that the 17-year-old with the rifle. That could have been me out there just protesting innocently. And it could have been my brother, it could have been anybody. So
right,
we do take it personal in a way, not that it has happened to any one of us or our family members, but at the same time, we do take it personal because at the end of the day, we are Black. So it may not happen in Wisconsin. It could happen in New York. It could happen anywhere where we go. It could be just regular civilians. So I totally understand where you're coming from, and I understand how, you feel angry. And sometimes we feel helpless because we think we could do more, and what can we do? So I totally understand where you're coming from, Reem. I feel the same way.
right. Yeah. Thank you. Honestly, you know, thank you, and you know that even just leads. Well, besides that, I forgot to ask you how you doing. I mean, I definitely went into apologizing mode and
No
everything. But,
worries.
no, definitely. You know, how you doing? How's your week? We're still waiting on
It's
Midwest Yosh.
going good.
He's not
It's
late. We're
going
just
good.
waiting for him.
It's going
What's the
good
latest? What's
for
going
the
on
most
in
part.
Yahira's world?
Well, aside from what we were talking about, I think that's what's on everybody's minds right now. Just how to
Right,
maneuver and go through life as um as Black people, even if we're just, doing our everyday things, stuff could happen. So that's just like on all of our minds every day as how we just maneuver through life. And even in this pandemic too. So we have so many things we have to worry about.
right,
It's just crazy to me, but I'm doing okay for the most part.
right. All right, cool. Definitely, yeah. It's just you as the individual, you come within your life. You know, once you understand your value, you understand your path. You know, now it's not only that, like how well are you intuitive of that? You know what I'm saying? Like how well are you really acknowledging and being blessed of your surroundings and of who you are? You know,
Hmm.
and yes, despite the social injustices that's going on, yes, despite the the ongoings that are happening, health wise and mental and in your community and everything of that magnitude, you still yourself have to still stick within the core of yourself. If you're with somebody and your family, you have to
Right.
do that as well. So, yes, we're going to be angry as Black people, but still do your best to come within your core. Now, I know I said, "Oh, I'm not doing MLK. I'm just going to be Malcolm," and that's not, that wasn't the best advice. That wasn't the
Hmm.
best thing to say. That was just speaking off personally and me not staying within my core. You know, the core is use this platform as best to its ability to inform and be an impact, as well as be of the standard to say, okay, you know what? This is what we are as the platform.
Right.
REEM'O Marak is an educator. This is what I've always told my students to do. And that's another thing too. I kind of had to think back, and I was like, "Dag, man, this is what I tell my students not to do." How it was so much contradiction I was doing. Oh, wait a minute, there he is. Hot dogs and coffee.
What's up? What's good,
I'm
y'all?
not gonna get at you. You're late. You are on time, sir.
Right. Thank you. Let the record show.
Yeah, you are on time, sir. Because any other
difficulties.
Any other time, I'd let the Ruger spray on you.
All right. Well, I appreciate that the Ruger spray has some compassion today.
Yes. I don't know if you're listening in. I started off the podcast, had to apologize to our viewers and listeners because I felt, and also shout outs to my woman, my lady. She also let me know that you were at level 10. I need you at a 7, and I'm not gonna lie. I mean, so I admitted and I apologize. As I said, as the leader of this podcast and platform, as well as for JAHAIRA and yourself, I don't want what I feel or personally about for somebody to cast upon y'all, because you guys are building your own entities. You know what I'm saying? It's not just, oh, you're of the REEM'O Marac and that's it. No, you guys are your own entities. You guys are your own personalities. You guys are your own selves, and I don't want what is going to come at me to be for y'all. That's just the real, and
understandable.
And
understandable. Cool.
Yeah, right. So definitely, that's why I was apologizing with. But sir, we just started talking about, the progressions. Well, the proceedings of after the heinous shooting.
And there's been a lot.
And yeah, it's been a lot.
There's been a lot going on that I will definitely get into in my little sports segment. But I guess for now, well, what were you guys talking about before I joined?
No, we're just checking in. I was checking on JAHAIRA. How we do the usual. We check them on each other. How about you? What's the latest with you? How you feel? What's going on? What's the dealio on?
I mean, I'm good. I think we're starting to see, and like I said, like I get to in sports, it's sort of like almost like a revolution, and almost like a big movement that we're not gonna stand for the bullshit. We're not gonna stand for innocent young black men, and even for that matter,
right,
young black people, young black women get murdered in cold blood. So it's been a lot, but I'm glad to see that there are steps being taken in the right direction, which, like I said, I will get to in Midwest Yosh Sports. But as for now, yeah, everything with the Jacob Blake situation is wild, and I'm glad that there's a bigger response. I think, like we mentioned, I'm not sure if I mentioned this on the last episode, but I remember seeing that I think in a Wisconsin correctional facility, it got burned to the ground, and on the side of the remains it said, "Are you listening?" And I thought that was so profound, because we're starting to see powerful. Again, like that the people, and when I say the people, I mainly mean people of color and allies, are fighting back, are not, just taking this shit lying down. And even something else that we were talking about in our last episode of having to possibly strap up, which is not something I ever thought I'd ever have to think about, as I guess coming from a environment where we believed in nonviolence, even though my parents did live through the civil rights era, I think that they both believed in taking a stand and not per se being violent. It's almost gotten to a point where the conversation about maybe having to get a firearm might be here sooner than we think, especially as a bigger conversation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to do.
Yeah, I just checked the comments. Unfortunately, it's not pulling up on here. Shout out to Aaron. I'm a respond to him. Yeah, Aaron, nah, I definitely appreciate what you're saying, and I'm not gonna go against it. Yeah, no, we are to take it personal. We are to take it personal, but we also have to understand, you know, our position here on the REEM'O Mrek, and me as, you know, the leader of this podcast. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Yes, to be angry. Yes, to be frustrated. Yes, to show frustration. Yes, to reply in such frustration that, you know, it's gonna be, oh man, wow, this is REEM'O I didn't know, or I didn't, you know, whatever. But one has to do his best to get back to his core. So, Aaron, one shout out to you. I couldn't really say it here. I couldn't post it on the StreamYard, unfortunately, but
Right.
I'm acknowledging it. I'm looking, actually, let y'all fans know I'm looking here on the side of my iPad at the comments. Hopefully, you know, we get the comments up here and everything of that magnitude. But yeah, no, it's so deep and enriching to see a unison happen. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to be against it because I never felt it consistently. You know, it'd be the old same song and dance. All right, and then we was going back to our regular, you know, which is nuts. We was going back to our regular, and I'm just like, you know, like, wow. That's the best way I can put it. It's like, wow, you know, and it's just, hold on, we try to get JAHAIRA back.
Yeah, JAHAIRA, where you at?
Hold on, we gonna get
I think
JAHAIRA back.
JAHAIRA. I think she dipped out for a second. Okay, and she's back.
All
Listen,
right.
guys, this is the live podcast. Things happen.
Anything can go. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I feel like 2020 is just
it's wild,
kind of a mess right now, and it's kind of. I feel like this episode is a bit of a metaphor.
Yeah, right. Of 2020,
a lot of technological problems, but you know, we get through it. We get through it.
No, but yeah, no, definitely the unison, and not to take away from you with sports, Yosh. First I gotta off tremendously commend Kenny Smith. I mean, yeah, that's a Queen. That's a Queens thing. You know what I'm saying? He's Rosedale. I'm Laurelton. You know what I'm saying? And he and a little bit of left rack with Kenny Smith. You know what I'm saying? But I have to commend him. I have to, like, to be on live
and just bounce.
And bounce.
Like, he was like, "Yo, I don't think," and he did that like right on national television. I thought, you know, I was like, oh shit, he like dipped, and I thought that his co-host Ernie was gonna like look weird, but it was like, you know what?
Oh, he was with it,
and I appreciate that, because he could have been like kind of confused, like, yo, where's he going? But I'm glad that he didn't, that he understood, that he said, you know what? I'm gonna let him rock. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than anyone. This is him in protest, and it's kind of showing how real this is, and how pissed off Black people are that they just I can't even talk about it. They're just sick of dealing with this shit. Sick of dealing with innocent Black people dying. Like, when the fuck is, like, seriously, when the fuck is it going to stop?
Right.
Like, this is unbelievable.
Yes, we got apologize to our viewers and everything. Technical difficulties everywhere, but definitely, Yosh, go back and what you were saying one more time, sir.
No, I was just saying that, when is it going to stop? What's the tipping point? And again, like you said, I commend Kenny Smith for
tremendously
for protest, for his form of protest.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of which, again, I'll get into in Midwestern sports. It's happened a lot more frequently. And I think there's also a little bit of a controversy for some of the leagues that did not protests, but I'll get into that. But REEM'O, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts and your feelings on the matter?
Um, let's let Yahira get in. Yahira, what's
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Now, yeah, that's right. She's back.
yeah, Yahira's
JAHAIRA,
I'm
you've been
here.
kind of. Yeah. What's up?
No, I with everything, I honestly do not blame Kenny Smith for taking that stand and going with the players as doing their boycott because it shows a lot when, you're able to use your platform and express how you feel around you, what's going on. I mean, you might be on different social economic differences as other people, but at the same time, you still are a black man. You're still able to share that, even though you guys are different, um, it could happen to any one of these guys. It doesn't matter what your status is. It could happen to any of us. And that's what they're doing. And I also commend the WNBA for doing that as well because they stopped all games yesterday. And I don't know if they're doing that going forward for the rest of the season, but I also commend those ladies, because they've been really vocal this entire time, especially with social injustices around. So I do need to shout out them, and I give credit for the Bucks for really starting this and saying that they're not going to do this game last night and possibly going forward. So I really do commend everyone for really taking a stand and showing them that their voices should be heard.
No doubt. No doubt.
yeah, real talk. I mean, I even posted on my Twitter, you know, in my lifetime, even as a fan, a sports fan, this is a first time in unison, that I witnessed. Yes, there's been
Mm-hmm.
times and moments that in sports people have taken stands and everything. I'm not saying that, but I'm talking like this type of unison where it's like vigorating and it's like, okay, no, this is the no. And you even had LeBron, who's the face of the league. See, and that's another thing too. You have a face of a league
Right.
who is all the way with the shits and said no. That alone,
Right.
you don't understand how much. Like, not to say I never respected LeBron, I've always respected LeBron, but that alone adds on to another tier of respect. Because there's not a face I could think of in history of sports that I could think of faces, but not a face
Right.
of a league.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and he is.
Face,
He definitely is.
the pivotal face of sports. There's faces, there's levels of that. But when you're the pivotal face, I did not see Gretzky do this. I did not see Jordan do this. I did
And
not
even though he could
Mm-hmm.
have, and should have, maybe
I did not see who else can I think of major in sports? I did not see
Tiger Woods,
Tiger Woods. I did not see
Tom Brady,
Right.
Tom Brady. I did not.
Cam Newton for a larger extent.
No, Cam spoke, but it wasn't to that level.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
And Cam, he became the face of the league for like a minor time. Okay, but this is LeBron 17 years. You were the face of the NBA. You are the unlimited. Doesn't matter, even if there was a couple years that other players had better years. You are still the unlimited face of the NBA. And you took the stance cold-heartedly and said, hell no with this. I'm out.
That's true.
No, this is and that's real. And in my lifetime, I have not seen a figure. I've seen figures
That's a
do
whole fact.
something, but not the face of the league.
Right, and what I'm starting to realize is, I feel like there are other football players that have taken a stance against social injustice, but they weren't the face of the league. They were like a little. Like, I think there was a couple of guys from the Bears. I think Emmanuel Acho. No, I'm sorry, Samuel Acho. He's I think he actually currently works for I think FS1. He's taking a stand and he's creating that conversation. But you typically do not see that many people, that especially that many prominent black athletes, at least not much as there should be or could be, that are taking the stand. I was even thinking of even in MMA, John Jones. Never saw him take a stance like this.
Right.
You could even go to Russell Wilson. You really don't see him. I feel like he's kind of like politically neutral. I feel like because he's consistently so good, like it all like you kind of.
But is he the face of the league?
I feel like this to some degree.
Okay.
I feel like to some degree, some people could say that.
Okay.
I think because, well, I'd like to think that, you know, I feel like because he's a football player and he's a dad, and you typically don't see him as politically active. And I think, it's weird because like we kind of expect these things from athletes, but at the same time, do they expect it from themselves? And are they going to be an athlete like Charles Barkley, who had the famous commercial of, "Oh, I'm not a role model and I just play basketball. Don't expect me to, you know, make some type of political statement," or someone like LeBron James. I think in times like these, because these athletes are so accessible and visible, we kind of expect them to say something, but there's no real obligation. I mean, it would be nice. It would be nice to know that someone like Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes, which he actually did come out and say something, or someone like Russell Wilson, who's a bit more ingrained and ingratiated with the sport, to come out and say something. So I think it's now that I'm like verbalizing it now, it's kind of a fine line. Because you're right, we haven't seen too many prominent stars speak up against social injustice. We haven't seen. I mean, for like a hot second, Cam was the face of the league, and that was around like the 2015-2016 season, and I think that was around the time that Eric Garner was killed, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Let's fact check. We do fact checks here.
Yeah.
On the REEM'O Marak.
I could be wrong, but I believe that was around the time that the Eric Garner situation happened.
Yes, Eric Garner was killed 2014. So that was like the peak.
Right. So that was
the beginning.
Right, and that was like that was the ascent of Cam Newton.
Right.
That was going into his MVP season. That was going into when he was going to the Super Bowl. So he had plenty of opportunity. Now, yes, he was riding high. They were 15-1. I think, like I said, I think it would be nice to know that these athletes feel the same kind of anger that we do. And even though they are kind of, to a certain degree, private citizens and have millions of dollars and have a lot of responsibility to their company, it's good to know that, you know, that they feel what we feel. They understand the pain that we feel, and to verbalize that, and to know that Cam Newton is just as pissed off as I am. That at least we know LeBron James is just as pissed off as I am, but to know that Tiger Woods is just as pissed off as I am. You get what I'm saying? Right. So yeah, bro, it's a lot. It's a lot. But I think one thing we can, I guess, kind of move on to.
Wait, hold on. No, but I want to add on. I wanted to add on.
What's up?
Also, we can't, like, I'm not taking away from Cap, but Cap at the time, he was in the cusp of being the face of the league. Not saying,
right.
Not saying
he was almost there. He was on
the cusp. He was on the cusp of being the face of the league. Definitely. But what he revolutionary has done has put him in the category of face. I don't know if that makes sense. Did that make sense? Yes or no?
It does a little bit. He was at the precipice. I feel like when he excuse me, when he started to take a knee, that was after after he went to the Super Bowl and he was a bit more established. It was just unfortunate that at least with the NFL, like that's what happened. That he was taking the stands, it spread, and he basically almost got at the time got blacklisted because of his political stances. And on top of that, being more involved in activism, taking trips to, I believe, Somali to help out the people there. And I think now we're starting to see a little bit more activism. Like Kenny Stills got arrested, but at the same time, he's not the face of the league. He's a part of the league, but he's not the face. So even Patrick Mahomes, who's starting to become the face of the league,
right,
has been more active. So I'm hoping that trend continues.
Right,
I really do.
Right, definitely. Let's go into what we spoke about in the group chat. I tell you, hip hop could be a funny thing. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna go there with this, yo. Hip hop could be a real funny thing. It's either you could get the ones that are for the culture, or the ones within it that just want to gain attention just because.
Right.
I'm sorry. AKON. Don't give me that BS.
Now, okay, don't give
me that BS.
But REEM'O, hold on. For those people that might not be privy to the situation, I mean, I'm still trying to break it down myself.
Right.
Break it down.
Okay, so it's a recent post of AKON saying, his missed opportunity of signing Drake. But the reason for this, or whatever the case may be, is because he sounded like Eminem. Now,
first up, no, he doesn't.
Now,
Eminem raps way faster, so I don't. That doesn't make sense.
Listen. The hell, I'm gonna curse. Fucking here. It's one thing, fine. If you didn't want to sign him, fine. You did not want to sign him. Cool. But this fucking ridiculous, asinine, fucking outcry of attention to fucking say that because Drake sounded like Eminem, that's like me going to Bodega and I'm upset because I bought Skittles thinking that, oh, you know what? They're gonna taste just as great as Starburst. So that's why I didn't pick up the Starburst. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
It's if you lost your opportunity, cool. You lost it. You either lost the opportunity or you didn't want to do it. Fine. But it's like, Jesus Christ. In the sake of the culture, in the sake of hip hop, like to seek that type of fucking attention, it's like, are you nuts? And listen, and this even stems back from him, for him getting with 6ix9ine. It was even attention. It was goofy attention grabbing Ben.
Right. It was attention grabbing, definitely.
And now you're just seeing more and more patterns of this shit. And it's like, bro, it's okay. Like I want within the hip hop culture, it's okay to say, you know what? I dropped the ball and I fucked up. That's it. Not to add on with it's like, come on, man. It's like, come the fuck on, man. Like, this is what we're doing in hip hop. This is what we're doing in the hip hop culture. Like, for real. This is what the fuck we're doing in hip hop.
Right. And REEM'O, if I may, I feel like sometimes you have to say something out loud in order to to like make sense of it. He said, and you just said that AKON did not sign Drake because he sounded like Eminem. So let's break down that sentence. So yeah, one, you're right. He missed out. Number two, you just compared Drake to Eminem. And even now, Eminem is way more established. I think he'll go down as, I think, one of the GOATs. Just because I think one, because of his story and how he started out and how he kind of like dipped a little bit and fell off and then kind of rose back to prominence, right? So now that all of these, both rappers are established, Drake is established, Eminem is established, has been established, right? We can now see, to most people, and I feel like if you were to poll 100 hip hop heads or 100 music enthusiasts, rap enthusiasts, whatever, I'd like to say that way more than half would not compare Drake to Eminem. So the fact that AKON said
even at the point of, not to cut you off, even at the point when Drake started, per se. Let's take it to that sense. If you want to look into it, take it to that sense. Taking that, consideration, right? I don't think anybody was going, oh yeah, he definitely does sound like Eminem. Or,
he sounds nothing fucking like him.
He sounds definitely like an Eminem-esque artist.
What? No.
It's like, listen, and I'm gonna take it to another person, right? Like DJ Self, right? Who on many podcasts admitted he dropped the ball with Cardi B, but he kept it real. He said because at the time, what he had, it wasn't established yet.
Oh, he had a chance to sign Cardi B?
Yeah, that was a whole big thing. But he didn't know. But the reason being is because he didn't feel within him and of his brand and what he had at the time of his label was established enough. And I respect that because you didn't waste her time. You didn't drag her around or waste her time around or whatever. But you admitted like, hey, that's it. That shit right there with AKON. And listen, and I'm not taking away from AKON's, what he's established, what he's doing amazingly in the world and everything. That's not what this shit is about, fam. My shit is like family. Like dogs. That dragging it, you're dragging it, man. And that's even leading to let the Ruger spray. You're dragging it, son.
Right.
You're dragging it for attention. Like, really?
Yeah. And also I feel like just admit it could have this story could have gone a whole separate way. It could have been like, yo, I had the chance to sign Drake, but at the time I didn't see it. So
that's it.
It went from like, now it went from you trying to slander him, which in turn made himself sound goofy. Like it went from, yo, I could have signed Drake, I could have got that back, we could have, I don't know, taken over the fucking world, whatever, to sounding kind of goofy because you're comparing Drake to Eminem. But at the same time, what you're missing out is that Eminem is established in his own right, and I feel like, well, to most people, will go down as one of the GOATs. And now looking at Drake sounds nothing like him. So first of all, why the fuck would you make that comparison?
Yo, I'm and I don't really dive into like the goofiness when people speak, because like I said, social media, fine, people say whatever, or it could be somebody else saying something or whatever, but it's like, fam, when in hip-hop are we gonna understand for this goofiness to stop? It's it's mind-boggling me. It's almost to a point like mofos contradictorily get at people who come into this culture or whatever and don't be real, right? Then mofos say something about it, but then you turn around, you're the same mofo who's saying the goofy shit. So what is it at the end of the day? Like, it's ridiculous.
And it's also kind of weird because at one point I was commending AKON because this man was trying to do great things in Africa, bringing electricity, bringing wealth, not just just pouring money. Well, essentially he was pouring money into that country, but he was creating an infrastructure, he was creating jobs. And I was like, yo, this is great. AKON stepped away from music, and he's doing something that benefits tons of people.
Right.
And now for him to come out and being I guess in cahoots or whatever with 6ix9ine was kind of weird. I was like, okay, like where the fuck is this going to go? Which it didn't seem like it led to anything. And now for him to say that he didn't sign Drake because he sounded like Eminem, it's like I feel like he took at least 1.5 L's for that, because he could have just said, yo, I didn't think Drake was going to be all that, I fucked up, and then just walk away. But instead he played himself. That's exactly what he did. He played himself.
Ridiculous.
Played himself.
Yo, shout outs to Hip Hop Gamer. I just saw his comment. Sorry for everybody. StreamYard's not picking up your comments here. It would normally post right here. Sorry about that. Really apologize. Shout out to Hip Hop Gamer. I just seen his comment.
Yeah, what's going on, bro?
Live stream, Hip Hop Gamer. You already know what it is. Hot 97. Shout out to the gaming and guidance team. I'm with them. Definitely gonna be with them for September 2nd for another One Community event out in Queens. Also, how can I forget? How can I forget? Hold on. I totally forgot. Let me get right to it. Yes. Wait, hold on. I'm getting to my notes.
Okay.
Getting to my notes. Because this
we got REEM'O. What we got?
Hold on.
Wait for it.
Oh yeah. Shout out. Let me shout out to Kima and her beauty cream. I'm gonna go to it as Beauty by Beauties. Follow them on Instagram at BIU_beauty by beauties. Natural skincare cream.
Cool. Word.
For your skin, vegan oriented. And
okay,
stuff
word.
Like that. So definitely
very
follow
organic
on Instagram at BIU_beauty by beauties. All right, definitely had to shout that out. Didn't want to forget that. You also shout out to gaming and guidance team. We're definitely going to be out in Queens September 2nd again for another One Community event. And also too, shout out to Khadijah, who is a sergeant at the 103rd precinct. Definitely have to have a talk with her after, like later on today, because I'm not gonna lie, as I apologize to you guys, I also was letting her know I was a bit conflicted, and we definitely have to have the detailed talk before I go out and film and make something great again that needs to be done.
Shit, or maybe even have her on the show.
Yeah, that might be a possibility. I'm gonna see what her schedule is, and then see when. But nonetheless, shout out to JAHAIRA. Unfortunately,
she's having some computer troubles.
Yeah, having some computer issues. We definitely, want her here on the show always. She's always going to be on the show regardless. Yeah. But definitely, that gets into my topic for Let the Ruger Spray.
Right. So
when
you mentioned Draggin It.
So, Draggin It. Oh man, let's talk about
it. So for the benefit of those that don't listening that don't quite understand, break it down.
All right, it's pretty much Draggin It's like when you really like over exaggerate something that isn't needed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where the term, you dragging it, fam. Or even you're lying about something that's like totally blasphemy.
Right.
Like, yo, fam, you dragging that, fam. You dragging that. That's not even what it goes down.
Okay.
When is your gauge meter for somebody when they're dragging it? Like what is or when is your gauge meter? I had to talk to my lady because I'm not gonna lie. We had broke it down, the segue. We broke it down because with her, I am facetious with her and I am sarcastic with her.
Right.
When she goes to her extremes to a degree. But I don't know, with me, it's 50. As a late, it's been 50-50. it's been endearing in a sense, like that kind of like endearing, like ooh, couple, ooh, type thing.
Right.
But then there's other times I'll be like, baby, I ain't gonna lie, baby, I love you and everything, but yo, you are dragging it, yo.
Right.
So with you, Yosh, like what is your gauge on when somebody's dragging it?
Someone's dragging it. I think this is when they're like over explaining something in my mind, and I feel like sometimes like I have a couple friends that they over explain something. It's like, yo, just chill out. I get it. I get it. Just chill. Just calm down. Just calm down.
Right.
Just calm down.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, for me, like, I don't know, because I ain't gonna lie. There's been times like I've done walked away from people when they drag it. I've been on some rude shit. I'll just be like, yo, I don't got time for this. I gotta go. You're dragging it.
But also, like, now I'm like thinking about it, or just when someone is like saying something that's is completely wrong. Like, I'm not gonna name names, but I had someone at work that, like, when COVID first hit, had honestly believed, like a lot of other people, that 5G was causing COVID-19. Yes, he believed it, and not like, and I looked at him, and I was like, because sometimes he jokes around, and I looked at him, and he was being serious. I was like, and now mind you, no one really knew, and that was around the time that no one really knew where it came from, but we all kind of knew it was a strain of the flu. And this nigga's talking about, 5G is causing corona. I'm like, word, you believe that? And I saw he was like serious. I just had to walk away. I'm like, the level of, in my mind, idiocy and stupidity and misinformation. Like, come on, bro. Like, you can't honestly think that a strain of the flu was brought on by essentially wireless technology. Like, just say that sentence out loud, and you realize that none of this shit makes sense. None of it makes sense. So for me, that's dragging it. When somebody is either over explaining something or saying something that is just completely false.
Oh man, completely false. Listen, dude. End all be all. You gotta check in the gate on somebody when they're starting to drag it. I'm sorry. You can't allow yourself to go, oh, really? Awesome, great, and just not check the person like, yo, dog.
Right. Like where are you? And I think that's what kind of makes this current, I guess, socio-political, racial era and all the tension makes things a little bit more tricky. It makes, I guess, finding information a little bit more tricky because there's a lot of information out there. And I feel like anyone like us with a laptop and a microphone can spew bullshit and people are going to believe it because it's there. Like the old adage goes, anything you read off the internet is true. And where'd you read that? You read it from the internet. So I feel like people are taking for granted the depth of information that's out there without having to fact check it or vet it or even just read it and just think like, yo, does this make sense? Is what I'm reading, this doesn't make sense knowing what I already know. Just like with the 5G causing corona. Like, just even saying that out loud just sounds dumb. it just sounds dumb. Like in the fact that people actually believe that, I'm like, come on, y'all. Like y'all need to wake the fuck up. Y'all are ones that are not woke. Y'all are sleeping.
Not woke. They need a shot of a Monster. They need a Red Bull.
Something. You need a shot of something to wake them the fuck up. I don't know, coffee, vodka. I don't know, like. And that's what makes things a lot sad. So I guess as a unintentional PSA. Just guys, just fact check your shit. If you see something on the internet, like read it first. If it makes sense, do your research. That goes for myself.
Right, and that goes for me too.
Information. Yeah, there's a lot of information out there, and some of it's bullshit. So just fact check, bro. Just fact check.
Since you and I, right, we're both in committed relationships.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we are.
When do you gauge it in the relationship? Like,
when you gauge,
just to say to your lady, oh, hey, listen, babe, you're dragging it, babe. Like,
I think when it comes to, well, the interesting thing, at least I know with my girl, like we talk, we communicate a lot, and I feel like we kind of know. I like to think that we know when, like, we know how to vet information, and I like to think that we know when reading something, whether it's bullshit or not, because of either prior information that has been confirmed,
right,
or from maybe just a certain experience. So I think like if she brought up to me that's like, yo, you know, COVID is caused by 5G, I'd be like, baby, it's not. And I'm going to give you receipts. Now, granted, we have not had this conversation, and I hope that we never get to a point.
Yeah, because you don't want to be coach like Yosh.
Right. I don't want to get to Coach Life Coach. I don't ever want that to be an AKA. I don't ever want that to be something I'm associated with whatsoever. At the same time, like even like reverse, like if you know I said something and she's like, oh, read this, or brings in certain article to me that disproves it. Like, okay, so this is actually a perfect example. So I don't know why we were talking about this, but we were talking about, like, I guess we might have been talking about like something around R. Kelly, because I remember bringing up the phrase "dirty old man," and she didn't believe that "dirty old man" was a well-known phrase. She was like, "Oh, you're just describing like a pseudo pedophile." I'm like, "No, dirty old man is a well-known phrase," and I had to kind of prove it to her. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't know that." So I think it, at least in terms of us, it comes from a place of educating each other and showing just educating each other and showing each other just different things. So that, at least that's how I view it. What about you and your lady?
I'm not gonna lie, between us, it's like a battle of like letting the rumor spread. Like, it's not toxic, but it's like she's all right. So I'm sarcastic,
right?
And
yes, the fuck you are.
She's feisty and sarcastic. So no, but
I see.
But mine is more like softly Chekhov-ish. It's like, all right, baby, come on. You're dragging it. Now you're just dragging it. And then she'll come back. Oh, here you go. Always talking about this dragging it. What am I dragging now? Or whatever, right? So it's
like fighting fire with fire, it seems like.
To a degree, but as of late, I haven't been so much on it with her like that, because she doesn't drag, like, unless she like goes to her extreme levels, like not extreme, but you know, her extreme levels. Then I'm like, baby, you're dragging it. Or she does it to me, or she likes to call me King Petty, right?
King Petty.
Yeah, she likes to call me King Petty because
King.
I guess because the way I have a rebuttal. So the way I rebuttal to things.
Right.
So she doesn't say I'm King Petty. I'm like, all right.
Yo, imagine if she called you Petty Marac.
Yeah, that
Petty Marac. Yo,
son.
Yo, that might be an AKA. Listen, that might be an AKA.
I might wear that as a shirt. I might wear that as a shirt, son.
Yo,
or the petty sprayer. You know.
Oh no, that could be on the back. Petty Marac on the front.
Petty
Petty
Marac. Might.
Oh, that'd be tough. That'd be tough.
Petty Marac. I'm about to put that in Twitter.
Listen. Look out for that. Look out for that. Late 2020.
I know, right?
Petty Marac.
I'm about to put that on Twitter like a hashtag. Petty Marac. Like words. Like that dude. Petty Marac.
When you substitute someone. Hashtag Petty Marac. Ooh.
Hashtag Petty Marac. That's word, son. Wow. Word, son. Baby, thank you, babe. Shout out to you, baby.
Listen, guys, we gotta get that trending. Petty Marac. We gotta
Petty
get
Marac. Word, son. Get that trending. Matter of fact, I'm about to change it on the banner. I'm about to do it right now. Petty Marac.
Petty Marac. Let's
I'm dead serious. Like literally right now. This is what happens on the REEM'O Marac. We do things on the fly.
Yeah, never unprecedented. Never seen before. REEM'O is adding a new AKA, and it is
Petty Marac.
Wow.
Yo, son. Petty Marac, son.
Right? Wow, bro, you blocked out mine. Wow.
Oh, my fault, son.
Wow. Wow, that is petty. That is petty.
Petty Marac, son. There goes one time, folks.
Wow.
Put it out there. Petty Marac.
At the Cross the Midwest Yosh.
Right. Petty Marac.
Fuck Midwest Yosh. I'm just here.
We gotta get the IG story up.
I mean, listen, I'm happy to be here, but goddamn, Reem.
I know. Petty Marac, son. It's all up there, all in you. There we go.
Yeah, like, come on, bro.
Petty Marac. There it is, son.
Man,
new hashtag Petty Marac.
I know for the listener and the people that are listening this through the podcast, I probably have no idea what the fuck's going on. So okay, it changed back.
It changed back. There we go.
Okay, thank you. So for like a good 5 seconds, that was all that was on the screen is Petty Marac. But I'm glad you got out of your little petty bag. I'm glad you got it out of your little petty bag and changed it back. So I appreciate that.
Petty Marac. I'm sorry. It sounds hilarious though.
Petty Marac.
Petty Marac.
See, Reem, this is what we just talked about. Now you're dragging it.
Hey, yo, it doesn't
now
matter. That's fine. But
see, now you're becoming the problem, Reem. You're becoming the problem. Hate to see it.
Oh my God.
Hate to see it.
I had an evil laugh with it, yo. I ain't gonna lie. I noticed that about myself. Like my laughs, they're pretty dictatorish.
If you do say so yourself. I mean, they are. But yeah. What are we gonna do with you, Reem? What the fuck are we gonna do with you, bro?
Hey, listen.
But
hey, I create a GoFundMe account and you pay it, and I just go on trips on your money.
Wow, that would be like the ultimate petty thing. I'm like, hey, give me money so I can travel. This has nothing to do with the community. This has nothing to do with anything. Just give me money so I can travel.
I could travel, so I could be out.
Yeah, just yeah.
And fly Southwest. You know how I give it up. Fuck you, Spirit.
Wow, you're willing to listen. That's a risk in my mind. Traveling Southwest, that's a risk, bro.
Yo, this is a great segue. What? It's not no risk. I love Southwest,
but they're known for being. We were just talking about this. They were known as being one of the worst airlines between Spirit and Southwest.
No, I love Southwest. Come on, leave them alone.
All right,
listen, man.
All right. If you say so.
But all right, as usual, you know how we gotta do, sir. Midwest Yo Sports. What's cracking? Yeah. What is the latest? What is shaking? I mean, we know what the latest is, but let's
I mean, we kind of touched on it about excuse me, about the protests, but I guess to go a little bit further, like we mentioned, all the games yesterday were postponed in protest. Kenny the Smith walked out on national television. As of today, there's supposed to be one of the things I saw was that the NBA playoffs are resuming, but they can resume as soon as Friday, because today they're meeting with a lot of NBA brass to figure out like a plan going forward and what the players want out of these protests, which I think is great to like, because it's showing power in numbers. And
Yes,
I feel like we're really trying to get that. And I also have a bit of breaking news. Pence and Kushner were talking about the protests, and they both, I guess in this ESPN article, VP Mike Pence, chief of staff, calls NBA protests absurd and silly. Jared Kushner says he'll reach out to LeBron James. LeBron James, if you are listening somehow, some way, please give these two niggas a smoke.
No, open the biggest can of whoop ass.
Yes, because the fact that you call them absurd and silly, I think is such,
it's ridiculous.
My nigga, how dare you?
Yeah, right.
All these protests absurd and silly. This is yet another black man that almost lost it. That now, luckily, I guess the biggest takeaway, unfortunately, is the fact that he did not die. Is the fact that he's still a living human being. However, what we're not talking about, and just real quick, and what I feel like we should be talking about as a quick segue, is the teenager that killed two protesters during the riot, and that nigga's still walking free.
Oh, nah, hell no.
That's what we should be talking about. And LeBron, I really sincerely hope you bring that up.
I know. We should. And not to take off of Midwest Yo Sports, I did forget to talk about that earlier. You know, this country's like ridiculous. Like it's just playing flat out ridiculous. But you expect people to be calm and suitable and everything like magnitude. And I'm just saying that, not saying that I'm in my personal bag or whatever, like I was last episode. But it's like, look at what you're presenting. Look at what's being presented. Let us do that. You ready to put us not even 6 feet under the jail. You're ready to put us in the pits of Agrabah. Okay? If you want, I'm not trying to be funny here, but that's just what it is.
That's the reality. That's the reality.
Think of Aladdin. You want to put us in the depths of a dungeon all the way down to the earth's core. But this teenager, redneck, whatever the hell you want to call him, and I said it, okay, takes AK-47.
17-year-old kid. Like, he's a 17-year-old kid.
17-year-old kid, AK-47, blast two protesters. One, if I'm not mistaken from the reports, one in the head. And it's okay. He could walk freely. You idiot politicians. It's absurd. It's silly. No, it's what's absurd and silly is that you are in office, regardless of votes or not votes. It's like I hate to go that route. It's like ridiculous. It's insane. We are in insane times right now. And the best thing you could do as an individual, and I'm gonna say it right here, stick to your core and just have that best relationship with God. Real talk.
Yeah. That's one way to put it. So just to kind of bring things back on course. So obviously the players are meeting with NBA brass to figure out, how the playoffs can resume amidst this boycott. Could happen as soon as Wednesday or at least by the weekend. And I just hope for the best possible outcome. As much as I would love to see sports and as much as I would love to talk about sports with y'all, we have conversations. I think it's important for the players to come back when they're ready and not feel forced by
contract.
By contract or even by owners, which are mostly white, to come back. Like, the players are the ones that are literally in a bubble. Granted, it is fantastic basketball, but I feel like this is a privilege to watch at the quality of basketball. Yeah, there's no fans, but I feel like every single game,
It's
for
been
the most part, has been
epic.
It's been epic. Has been captivating,
Commendable.
The other day, Jamal Murray dropped and that's one thing I wanted to get to. Was like fucking Jamal Murray dropped 41 points and damn near by him. Well, between him and Jokic, Jokic in the first half
was wilding
at 20-some points, and Jamal Murray carried the second half. He ended up having what was it? I think it was 40, 47
46.
46 points. My man. So I feel privileged to be able to watch this. And I feel like if all the players even banded together and said, yo, we're not playing, just imagine for 1 second, Reem. They boycotted and they said, we're not playing until the people that severely injured Robert Blake and the people that killed Breonna Taylor are arrested. Just imagine the power, especially even if everyone within the NBA, but let's just expand it. Let's expand it to soccer. Let's expand it to the MLB. There was even the clip of Dominic Smith crying on national television saying that they don't care about us, and they don't. So especially when what just happened now is way more far-reaching, and it's incredible that we're in a position to see it unfold right before our eyes. And actually, I had some quick takes from social media as it pertains to the what happened with Jacob Blake. So actually, an MMA fighter, Kobe Covington, who's very much a MAGA and Trump supporter, had tweeted this out. Oh, wow, you postpone your games, want to prove you're really about change, quit your multi-million-dollar jobs and soft privileged lives playing a kid's game, take a massive pay cut, and perform the toughest job in America, become cops. And he added the NBA, the MLB, and King James, and LeBron James. Now, first off, fuck Kobe Covington, because he's an asshole, and he also, a lot of people don't realize that he admitted on a separate podcast that him being this MAGA hat wearing Trump supporter is actually an act, because he knew that it would essentially get him a title shot, which he got, and then got knocked the fuck out by Kamaru Usman, a proud Nigerian man.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to say this is just kind of continuing his.
It's a mental sickness.
I'm sorry?
It's a mental sickness. I mean, it is what it is. It's a mental sickness, bro. But here's the thing, though. Us and everybody else, you can't control somebody else's mental sickness. They have to control it themselves.
Right.
I mean, you can do your best to mute it or simmer it down or whatever. But at the end all be all, hey man, the Lord's gonna deal with him as best as possible.
Yeah,
It's that.
The universe definitely will.
Karma's gonna come.
Yeah, karma is absolute. That's one thing my parents taught me. Karma is absolute.
It is what it is. You know, it is what it is.
Another quick take.
Okay.
Actually, from the sport of hockey.
Okay.
Evander Kane, who is a prominent star in the NHL and also black, had said this. It is incredibly insulting as a black man in hockey, the lack of action and acknowledgement from the NHL. And this was in response to the fact that, you know, the MLB actually, the NBA canceled games and the MLB had postponed 2 games.
Right.
But yet what all the NHL did is for a few, which I think was kind of cool. I think was all right. They had a moment of reflection, and in some of the arenas they had end racism, Black Lives Matter, which is cool. But I think if all three were unified, if NBA, if if the NBA, the MLB, and the NHL were all unified and said we're boycotting, we're not playing, and show that kind of solidarity. I mean, granted, hockey doesn't have that big of a POC presence. However, I feel like it's slowly getting there. I mean, not many people. I mean, hell, Reem, did you know that there were at least like a couple of black players in hockey?
Yeah, nah. I mean, as I used to be heavily a hockey fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nah. Rangers hockey and stuff like that, and playing NHL hockey on video games. That was like one of my favorite sports games.
Good. I didn't know that.
Nah, yeah, and even like one of my favorite players, Jaromir Jagr. He's not black, but that's one of my favorite hockey players. Gretzky, Mario Lemieux. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Jerome and Ginla.
Ray Emery too.
Kevin
Weeks.
Yeah, Kevin Weeks was dope. You know what I'm saying? You had certain like pockets.
Right.
Even Kane now. Like Kane, he emerged. He's a star, but not like a
he's not, yeah, I get it. He's not like an emerging star. He's not like an established star like
but he's a star.
Like Crosby.
Like he's a star. He is a star.
Yeah. I feel he's not on the level, at least yet, of someone like Sidney Crosby or Ovechkin. But I think if all three leagues had shown solidarity and not played, that would have been even more powerful.
That would have been epic.
That would have been fucking epic, especially in a sport like hockey that doesn't have that many black players to begin with, and to show that solidarity would have been dope. Another quick take before I'm done. Actually, Bill Russell had said, I'm so proud of you. Keep getting in good trouble. And he was speaking on Kenny Smith, the fact that he walked out, and also in the WNBA, in a couple of the games, some of the women took a knee, and there was a picture. I know that some of obviously the audio listeners cannot hear this, but it's right there. They took a knee, and there's bullet holes on the back of the shirt. And I think obviously that's incredibly powerful.
That's what's up.
And like I said, I just imagine if they just banded, if they did all of this together, but at the same time, I applaud and I appreciate the NBA, the MLB, and the WNBA for taking a stance and for taking a stance.
Definitely, by far.
It's I mean, guys, it's a little odd for me to like talk about sports, and it's unfortunately relatively somber and maybe a little, I guess, negative. It's not as, happy, and doesn't create, a lot of good and, joyful banter, but this is the reality. And we are currently seeing an intersection of sports and social injustice that players are fed up. Black people are fed up, and we want to see something. And I hope that especially the NBA players, the NBA Players Association, gets what they want.
Yeah, get it done.
Get it done. Get what they want out of it. Especially to see change, because they know that they can't. They're as powerful as the sum of their parts. If everyone stops playing, if everyone takes a stand, hopefully we'll get to see some change. It's unfortunate that that's what it's going to have to take. It's going to have to take, sports not being on television in order to see a change. But, I'm appreciative that change is happening.
Right. So. Correct. Yeah, no, that's it, man.
Yeah, man.
That's what it takes. And even for us as media people, and we have this platform, the REEM'O Marac, we will do our every best to be informative and be the staple and be a standard of displaying that. And, if we have to verbally chin check or call people out on the fuck shit
Right.
or whatever, then be it. But in the same token, but in the sense, as I stated before earlier in the show, to not be as personal. Yes, you have to be personal, but we still have to show the grace and still show the core of our platform.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that's what I got. Hopefully within the next couple of days we'll have sports, but I hope that when sports does come back, we will see real change. Hopefully we'll see a couple of arrests of killers.
Oh yeah, Buffalo,
including the young man that killed the 2 protesters, including the police officers that put 7 bullets in Jacob Blake, including the killers of Breonna Taylor. I hope that we see those things very, very soon.
Yeah, by far. Don't give me this crap that courts are closed because of COVID. No, get it done.
Yeah,
get it done.
Yeah,
get
justice should not be shut down because of a pandemic. Like, justice should be served no matter what.
Exactly. You know? No, exactly. Seriously. All jokes aside.
Yeah, but that's what I got. What would you?
I don't know.
Anything else to mention for you, Reem?
I don't know. I don't know. I think we touched on.
We covered a lot.
I think we touched on enough until the next episode.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
You know, unfortunately, JAHAIRA can be here. You know,
shout out to JAHAIRA.
Yeah, you know, she hit me up on a message. Shout out to her. She's been always amazing on this show, and she will continue to be amazing. I hope everything's well. She had let us know that there was a storm happening up by her, so you know that's why the unfortunate technical difficulties and everything.
Yeah.
Definitely, next episode we definitely will have her on episode 23. But folks, I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, that's the next thing. Next one's the Jordan episode, so we got to bring it this time.
Yeah, you know, it's episode 22. Yosh, let everybody know where to follow you at.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Midwest Yosh, aka BK Yosh, aka Mr. Hot Dogs and Coffee. You can find me on IG at its_Yosh. Twitter is at its_Kiyoshi. Sorry about that. You know, we look forward to hearing your comments. I'm sorry that we can't have it up here, but hopefully we'll get that sorted. We look forward to your comments, your questions, your concerns, and just any topics you want us to speak on. Let us know. And yeah, man, like that. Reem talk your shit.
You already know what it is. You know where the how go, man. Follow the podcast IG at the REEM'O Marac. You know my IG and Twitter at REEM'O Marac. We put the new hashtag Petty Marac. Put it up.
What have we started? What have we started?
You know, also too on the website REEM'OMarac.com. That's where you can catch all the latest episodes. The links are there. Follow us on. You know, we're definitely on Google, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, SoundCloud. And definitely, too, please, on the Apple Podcast, please leave the reviews, leave the comments, subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? We definitely want to be staying on Apple Podcasts and do what we do best. You know what I'm saying? But you know how this is going, man. Episode 22 of the REEM'O Marac. You know what's up.
Yeah. All right, y'all.
Hey!
Be safe and be aware.
And hashtag Petty Marac.